Hey everyone, it's Panta here. Everyone already knows about the plan to avenge Lee Hyena. But did you notice that there's a parallel plot happening while the girls are trying to kill each other? And that this parallel plot is being developed not by the young girls, but by the adults? Yes, from time to time, during the revenge arcs, the author Q-Boy has been dropping pieces of the puzzle that make up this hidden arc of Plaything. And that, little by little, is taking shape and tends to become an important element of the narrative. And in this miniseries, this doggo will try to put together all the loose pieces so far and present them in chronological order, so that it becomes clearer what is happening behind the scenes. If you want to learn a little more about the Plaything universe, sit back and let's get started. In the Plaything subplot, there are two central characters, Lee Myung-jun, president of the Korean megacorporation Hyundai, and Cha Kang-yoon, assemblyman of the ruling party. Let's start with Cha. In Chapter 75, Kang Tae-in describes the Chas as people who can kill for trivial reasons. In Chapter 45, Cha Seo-hyun seems to declare his father's real motivation. He would be the future presidential candidate of South Korea. Now let's learn a little more about Lee Myung-jun. Everyone already knows about his revenge plan, but we don't know much about him personally. So let's go to Chapter 39, where Chief Baek reports that Lee Myung-jun is one of the most upright executives in the Hyundai group, with a strong sense of mission, and the candidate to be the next president. In Chapter 76, we get another perspective on him. Kang Moo-han comments that Lee Myung was a spoiled and studious boy, very afraid of his father. In Chapter 73, the other Kang brother, Tae-han, makes another comment about Lee Myung-jun's personality. Lee Myung would be a person who acted independently within the group itself. To conclude with him, we have a passage from him in Chapter 48, where he himself states that his entire life has been dedicated to the group. He is a little stressed that day, but don't mind him. After introducing the two central characters of the story, let's recount the key events of this plot. We will begin in the year 2021 in Chapter 47. The central project for the current arc's plot is presented. It is the Advanced Public Safety Infrastructure, APSI project. This project was an initiative proposed by Assemblyman Cha. On paper, it would mean proactively introducing AI technology to protect citizens from crime using CCTV and watch monitors. The project's true intentions are presented in Chapter 75 by Kang Tae-han. Instead of targeting citizen safety, APSI would be the infrastructure for creating a crime concealment platform in Busan. Back in Chapter 47, it is mentioned that the project was being challenged by the opposition party, which was warning of the risk of misuse of the tool. In response, a pilot project was proposed, involving a small number of selected districts in each major city, and these initial districts are Dosu and Gwakwro. In the Plaything universe, Dosu is a district of Busan. In Chapter 75, it is mentioned that Busan was being governed by a mayor belonging to the opposition party, who made cuts to the funds needed to expand the project to other districts. Let's now explore the Dosu district. In Chapter 47, Chief Baek provides some information about the history of the Shaft Gang, which would become the largest criminal cartel in the district in the following years. Initially, the Shaft Gang was an illegal labor agency, but thanks to the talent of the Kang brothers, Moo-han and Tae-han, the agency grew and became Dosu Marine Crankshaft Inc., which boosted shipbuilding in the area and made the company the most important in the region, handling about 60% of the district's wealth. But the Shaft Gang's power wasn't just economic. With its origins rooted in crime, the Shaft Gang secured control of the district's police, and with that, gained the ease to commit any crimes in the region. In Chapter 47, we learn about one of the main crimes committed by the Shaft Gang, the murder of people and the disposal of the bodies in the East Sea. And in Chapter 75, we are introduced to the gang's other favorite type of crime, the kidnapping and trafficking of humans with their shipment to YL Island. In Chapter 76, we are introduced to the secret of YL Island. Owned by the Shaft Gang, it is a place where evidence of obscenity crimes is fabricated, which can be used to coerce chosen figures. In Chapter 57, we have clearer information that the Chas are controlling the Shaft Gang from the shadows. In Chapter 69, we discover that YL Island is not the only crime island of the Chas. The existence of JJ Island is mentioned, which is supposedly used for the same purposes. In Chapter 76, we are introduced to more elements of the Chaz's criminal infrastructure. We meet 4 men who would be responsible for carrying out Cha Kang-hyun's dirty work. Song Jin-taek, Yujin's father, and CEO Shin were in charge of managing JJ Island. Meanwhile, Moon Peter, Yejin's father, along with Assemblyman Jung Young-taek, were involved in the land scandal, which was likely a scheme to move funds for the Chaz. All of these events occurred in 2021. or were occurring around that time. But let's now jump forward in time to 2023. As mentioned in Chapter 32, the Hundo group is experiencing financial difficulties. In the same chapter, it is also mentioned that there is a corruption problem within the group. It was mentioned that the level of corruption within the Hundo group was widespread. Next, it was mentioned that the acts of corruption and financial irregularities were linked to a political group, and Lee Myung-jun, as vice president, ended up being questioned by the National Assembly. The issue of corruption in the Hyundo group is revisited several times throughout the story. For example, in Chapter 48, when Lee Myung-jun talks to one of the group's directors. In this conversation, he comments on him and people involved with him being targeted for arrest. This information from people close to Lee Myung-jun is mentioned by Cha Seo-hyun in Chapter 45. It is then that the fate of the Hyundo group intertwines with the plans of the Chas. Details of this convergence are provided in Chapter 39. It is mentioned how Cha Kang-hyun used the Hyundo group to attack the opposition in the year 2023. Immediately afterwards, in the same chapter, it was mentioned how quickly Cha Kang-hyun eliminated the opposition for alleged corruption committed by the Hyundo group. In this chapter, another interesting passage is the timely mention of Song Jin-taek as someone performing services for Cha Kang-hyun. Next, one of the rare pieces of information linking Lee Myung-jun to Cha Kang-hyun emerges. Apparently, Cha was trying to send Lee Myung to prison, but somehow Lee Myung was managing to repel these attacks. In Chapter 37, a thought from Song Jin-taek is presented, but there is probably some real information there. In this thought, passages from HBS newspaper headlines appear, indicating Lee Myung's brothers being arrested, accusations against Lee Myung, the persecution promoted by Cha, and the Hyundo group's companies in decline. Another important event involving Lee Myung in 2023 is the national audit that would take place in the Hyundo group. This event was mentioned in Chapter 48. The date is not precise, but it is during this turbulent period that Lee Hyena transfers to Seo Middle School in the second semester of her third year. Next, Lee Hyena would be bullied and subsequently meet her ultimate fate, marking the beginning of the story's chronological events. And that's it for this week. Next week, I'll bring you a recap of the hidden plot after Karma's adoption by Lee Myung-jun, and I'll finish this mini-series with my theories about the conclusion of this plot with what we have so far. If you've made it this far, I greatly appreciate your company, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's video. But before I go, I'll shamelessly advertise myself. If you want to see other videos I've made about Plaything, consider checking out my Plaything playlist. If you want to check out my other manga and manhwa recap channel, consider watching this suggested video here, where I briefly present the series I covered in April. If any of these series interest you, consider visiting my channel and watching the video I produced. And that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.